What up, my freaks? Ruinous Insight here with part 20 of my Total Warhammer 2 modded Mazdamundi campaign. So as we saw last time, we have taken the Black Pyramid of Nagash, destroying the massive amount of Sentinel armies that were here in a fairly nice number of battles with Mazdamundi and Moff Catel, who didn't actually get all that hurt, but that's not surprising for, you know, the giant hordes of skeletons that we were fighting, although there were some elite units last time as well. I find that the battles against the Tomb Kings are always a highlight of campaigns, as there are always all these massive amounts of armies that you can face at the same time. They're always such a fun time. Anyway, that's over here, while over in Lustria, because Gorog declared war on us, we are still waiting to actually initiate said war, more or less, while the turns that were in the desert we're running. Now I think we are good. We are about to end this turn, which means we will be starting on the fighting with Gorok. We need to take all of his territories except for one, and then hopefully eventually force him to confederate with us. I don't know if it'll work out, but hey, it might. It might. I'd love to do this, you know, naturally without having to rely on the Confed defeated lords mod, especially with lizards. I feel like once the lizards have decided that they won't confederate you, I feel like it's a line with them to be, you know, obstinate and die for their interpretation of the Great Plan, as opposed to join another interpretation which they believe are false. That would be, like, super sacrilege, wouldn't it? But anyway, let's end the turn. I don't believe anybody else has to move here, unless I'm mistaken. No, it doesn't look like it. So we should probably just start taking Khemri and all this stuff, so they stop annoying us, and then we can deal with the rest of what's in the desert. So, let's end the turn. And here we go. Settlement besieged the Blood Swamps. Vampire Coast. Oh, this guy wants to fight Tehenhauin in battle, eh? This is actually going to be a pretty interesting fight. On the one hand, we have a lot of very weak units, but on the other hand, they also have a lot of very weak units. I'm going to make this a cinematic battle because I think it'll be a good time. I don't know whether we'll win, but we'll certainly try. Tehenhauin, this is your show, I suppose. Look at all these skink cohorts. Going to be interesting. Go. Alrighty, here we go. The battle that will be Tehenhauin's debut. And ironically, it is a bunch of enemy skinks that have decided to do battle with Tehenhauin. So it's some skink on skink action. It will be the fight that determines who the supreme skink is. Tehenhauin versus, I forgot what this guy's name is. Something. Versus some red-crested skink chief whose name I don't remember. That's you, buddy. That's you. Everybody knows your name except me. I'm sure of it. Anyway, red-crested skinks. Pretty excited to see how they perform, but we do have a massive anchoring line of revivification crystals with arcs of Sotek all over the place, so we're looking pretty good there. Plus, this will be the first time we get to use our chameleon stalkers over here, especially since we don't have Oxyodal, and they look pretty damn cool. Yeah, you gotta love these frickin' models. It's really dark, this map, though. Damn, I mean, not only does it have forest, but it's also really dark. I guess this is the shadow of the jungle, or the mists of the jungle that are making this dark. Although it's a really cool map. I like the pyramid with the skylight there, and another pyramid in the distance here. Yeah, really lovely map, minus the fact that it's annoyingly dark. Anyway, I'll let a battle be joined. Let's speed it back up to normal. And Tehenhauin, you are probably going to stay up ahead. Get a cast off of the Flock of Doom on the giant pile of enemy skinks, because that's pretty darn effective at them. Let's see. Oh, actually, didn't seem to do that much damage, actually, surprisingly enough. Because Flock of Doom generally is pretty good, but this unit took, like, no damage to that. 18,293 versus 19,200. So it basically took 1,000 damage on one unit. Huh. Alright, so if every unit hit takes 1,000, that would be good if you hit a bunch of them at the same time. But overall, against such a basic unit as a tier 1 skink, I'm not impressed, I gotta say. Over here on our flanks, we have a bunch of these cold ones who are chasing our chameleon stalkers. They are being hit with those progenitor weapons, or whatever the hell they're called. They're called precursor weapon. Close enough. Close enough. I'm really curious to know how effective those weapons are. I guess we will find out when we can actually properly use these guys for a sort of flanking maneuver. And while in the meantime, oh, you're gonna use that ranged attack, but you're locked in melee right now. Huh. No, he took out his little axe. Alrighty, well, these guys can just enjoy the fight against the cold ones there. I do expect that they should have the considerable advantage, especially as these guys move into the trees, while the main battle gets joined as well, and we have our Arcs of Sotek and ooh, there we go. The perfect timing there, Arc of Sotek, spawning your stuff, and what the hell's going on over here? Oh, we got flanking charged by a bunch of cold ones. Lovely. I really, really wish this map wasn't so dark. I feel like I'd be slowing it down and stuff a little bit more if I could tell what the hell was going on. Oh, man. Stop standing still. Let's see what we got out here. Oh, looks like Tehenhauin is wheeling in here. Getting an Engine of the Gods and running it along the enemy line. Over here, lots and lots of dead skinks. Man, jungle's just roiling with fighting skinks. Usually this is reminding me of like early game battles with like skinks and skaven all fighting each other, but this is fairly late game. Now the second army has drawn in and are about to add a considerable number of reinforcements to the enemy army, although we have kicked off at least a few enemies from the front line already. The center is basically free of enemies now, and the enemy lord has approached over here, the red-crested skink chief. We are going to try to hunt him down with Ichlatek. I think he's around here somewhere. Yeah, he's trying to move through, and you can see the hero trying to get to the enemy. I tried to move him around because he does have that debuff on allies because of that scorned thing that he doesn't. He unfortunately is on foot as yet, so until he gets a Carnosaur, it's going to take some time. Look at these guys charging together. Very nice. Very nice. I don't even know who you're charging there, Tehenhauin, but you don't care. Knocking those riders down just as you move. Very, very nice. Javelin's coming in, but Tehenhauin does not care. He's still pretty much full HP, and he is regenerating on top of that. Very good. I think with our dino anchoring line, our skinks are doing amazingly. If only we could properly see them. Alright, more of these cold one riders out here, and I do think that by now Ichlatek should have caught the enemy lord. No, oh, he did, but then the enemy lord ran away after he took a few hits. Cool little, I don't know what that's supposed to be. Is that a hand coming out of the ground? Or is it just a bunch of rocks? I don't know. It looks like 5 fingers, but it could also just be a coincidence to just be a bunch of rocks. What is this ability even? What is he doing? It looks like it's generating like a foggy effect. It looks kind of bizarre. Okay, there we go. And now it's out of the picture. How's the rest of the battle looking? I mostly have to zoom out to figure out. Well, the enemies are still fighting. This actually battle is taking a reasonably decent time. We have taken some damage on our chameleon stalkers, but they have seen off those 3 units of feral cold ones, and I do expect that this one is going to follow shortly as well. There it goes, so these guys can help out on the flanks. Over here, 2 units of Basties out here as well. A Basti with an Arc of Sotek and a Revivification Crystal, fighting with these red-crested skinks out here, who are holding back quite a few enemy units as well. Very nice. Good job, Red Crests. Oh man, the Red Crest is so much smaller than the cold ones, which is, I suppose, not surprising. But there we go, these guys are running off once again. I think one of the more annoying bits about... Ooh, look at that Engine of the Gods. One of the most annoying bits about fighting an army with a ton of skinks is sort of the same thing that is annoying about fighting an army with a giant pile of Skaven. They will rout fairly quickly, and then they will rally and come back, and you'll have to deal with them. Engine of the Gods coming down, and through all of these skink skirmishers who were annoying us, and we just couldn't reach them because we don't have too much in the way of range, except with our Oracle using the breath attacks periodically, but this seems quite a bit more effective than that. How much damage has it done? Oh yeah, this has basically crippled all of these units. A very, very nice Engine of the Gods ability from Tehenhauin. Blinding though it is, but hey, at least we're getting some light on the map after fighting in the dark of the jungle here. There we go. It's going to clip our own Basti, but it's not going to do any damage to it. A, because it's got a lot of armor, and B, because it's a single large model. And there we go. Now we're just trying to chase down enemy units to prevent them from coming back. Most of them have routed. There are a few still on the field, but this battle looks to be pretty much in our favor now. Hey, a Skink cohort fighting the Red Crests. Yeah, you guys are gonna get wrecked. Red Crests are superior to you. You should really try to trade in those orange crests for red crests. There you go. Let's see. Any units still remaining on the field? There's that Lord, unfortunately, once again, ran out of Ishlatek's grasp. Ishlatek completely unharmed by the duels with the enemy Lord. Oh, and there's a Sora Scar veteran over here as well now. We also have our own Skink chiefs that are sort of just using their ranged attacks. And, oh, it looks like the Tehenhauin's going to take care of the Sora Scar veteran this time. There we go. We don't really need to see the rest of the battle in the sense that those units are all pretty much dead and we're just trying to chase them off, but I would like to see Tehenhauin chase down that Saurus Scarvenger. There he is. It's so dark I couldn't even figure out where the enemy was. Damn. Oh, and it looks like he's going to try to get some help with the Pterodon Riders. Are they going to help? Yeah, Tehenhauin's still completely unharmed. And regenerating everything, and looks like this guy's broken and terrified, and the army losses ain't helping matters. Either it looks like the entire army is just gonna run away now. There we go, Tehenhauin's debut battle, and taking a look at the amount of HP damage we've suffered, it's really not a lot. A few of the red-crested skinks got a little bit mauled, but most of our units are actually in pretty good shape, and even the red crests, a lot of them are close to full health. This one's, what, at like 75% HP? Yeah, very nice, very nice. Well done, and they're still healing as well on top of it while they run. The revivification crystals are really helping. I'm a little bit worried now about removing a lot of them from this army, because I know I said I was going to remove a bunch of them in order to replace them with chameleon skinks, the blessed chameleon skinks that we got, but it does seem that having a couple of revivification crystals is going to be pretty critical to keep the skinks alive. Anyway, close victory apparently, but I'm willing to bet that once we see the actual results, that's not going to be the case. Oh, and look, there's a beam of light out here that we could have actually seen what the hell was going on. I guess, oh, the sun is probably behind the mountains here. It's not just the mists that are up there. Yeah. A little unfortunate, but what can you do? It's a really cool looking map. It's just hard to see what the hell's going on it. Anyway, end replay. Let's see what we did in terms of damage and how much damage we took. Was it enough to warrant a close victory? Find out next time. I'm kidding. Alrighty, there we go, an actually pretty decent victory for Tehenhauin. Perhaps surprisingly, our red-crested skinks did not take as much damage as I thought they would, and they all did a fairly decent amount of damage. 40k for this one unit, 24, 22, 26, 28, all pretty damn good. These two Chameleon Stalker units did stay on the edge, so they weren't able to contribute as much, but they did defeat a number of those Feral Cold One units. The Arcs of Sotek did okay. They certainly helped anchor the line. I think that was the most important thing. Plus, they would have forced the enemy skink to be routed and fearful and all that stuff. We did a good 47 or nearly 48,000 damage on our Oracle, primarily due to the wind or breath attack, and then 75k on Tehenhauin himself, and he got a lot of kills via those two uses of Engines of the Gods, which were going through several lines of enemy units, and I think worked out pretty well. So I guess we're gonna kill and eat, because I feel like we probably should. Kill and eat, claim the warriors. We're gonna fight this again. Eventually. Might even be able to auto-resolve it once our other armies are there, now that I think about it. Hey! And we gained some levels as well. Performed assault units? How dare you? Whoa, 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 whoa. What's happening here? What are you doing? What the heck are you doing? You want to fight... You want to fight Moff Cattell by himself. Interesting. With some reasonably good units... I mean, I say we give it a go. It's a little bit dangerous considering how many skeleton archer and such, or chariot rather, units that they have, as well as a bunch of horse units which could possibly get close to... Oh, wow, yeah, there's even more here. They could definitely get to our ancient or our regular salamanders, unfortunately. But still, this seems like it will be a fun battle. Yes, we could obviously back off, which would force the enemy to fight both Mavcatel and Mazdamundi, but do we really need it? We don't have the kind of magical support that Mazdamundi and Lord Croak offers here. Nowhere near. Nonetheless, I still feel like we should probably try this. Yeah. Alright, and plus the undead are weak to, they are weak to fire, or at least many of the units are weak to fire, so maybe that'll help us out. Well, at least it'll help us out by 10%, plus compounded with the extra damage we do here. Anyway, obviously we're gonna have to make a cut because the Tehenhauin battle was a cinematic battle, so let's do that. There's the cut, and just before we get started, I tend to forget this, but this is once again a 5th episode of the series, and that's just when I remind you guys to drop those likes and comments if you've been enjoying this particular Let's Play. It is absolutely critical to get them in as they count as votes and determine how often this particular Let's Play is posted, and all that. You guys know the drill by now, so there we go. I've said that. Let's get to the actual cinematic battle. Go. Alrighty, here we go. I'm expecting a pretty interesting battle here, and we've set up by virtue of the fact, or we've set up in consideration, I should say, of the fact here, of the fact that we are going to be outnumbered here. I think one of these armies we could have handled with pretty great ease, but two going to be a little bit more problematic. We don't have a massive infantry line, and we also are not leveled up enough with various things. Mavcatel only has one damaging spell, really, and that's the piercing bolts of burning. He does also have fireball, but I've never found fireball or magic missiles in general to be particularly effective except for really specific purposes. Ah, that one just... It did not hit the center mass there, unfortunately. But hey, it still did some damage, and we are going to get piercing bolts of burning right away here. This is why we Vanguard deployed Mr. Mavcatel, just to try to do as much damage to this army before it actually came up to us as possible. I'm going to take a look at the defensive setup in a second, but I'm still glad I took this battle. I feel like it's going to be a very interesting one. And here come the bolts of burning, although the enemy is starting to move away. There it is, forming in the sky. Unfortunately, not in the form of a twin-tailed comet, which the Lizardmen like just as much. I think it doesn't like every faction like twin-tailed comets for one reason or another. The lizards think it's like a forked tongue or something like that, whereas the, well, everybody knows about the Empire thing. I think some other factions like it too. Unfortunately, the Tehenhauin Riders are right underneath the piercing bolts of burning as they came down. This was a little bit of a mistake on my part. Not a lot of them hit the Tehenhauin Riders, but enough. I do realize that, and I move them away, and most of the damage still comes down on the enemy, but a little bit of damage on them, like 25%. Whoops. My bad on that, definitely my bad, but at least we did a decent amount of damage to the enemy skeleton archers. Anyway, let's take a look at our setup. Mavcatel, you'll get another go at that. So basically what we're going to do here is essentially set up a box thing protecting our salamanders. We're all going to stay in the center and hopefully attack. Hopefully this will prevent the giant pile of enemy cav and skeleton chariot units that I did mention when we were starting the battle that were going to be an issue. Hopefully this will prevent them from getting too close to the salamanders, although obviously I do think that they will be able to charge through and get there. But I think the ancient salamanders, they can defend themselves in melee. They do have a fair amount of weapon strength and melee attacks, so once they run out, they can definitely help out with these units. Ooh, did that shot actually kill a chariot? It looks like it did. Very nice. Nice little snipe there from the from the Basti with Solar Engine. Unfortunately, not so nice from the Ancient Salamander. Anyway, over here we have our Pterodon Riders flying around and over the enemy army here. Another one has actually taken about 20% maybe damage, and the reason for that is the Eyes of the Desert, these Sepulchral Stalkers. They're quite good at dealing damage to these aerial units, surprisingly. Or perhaps not so surprisingly. We know that the Sepulchral Stalkers' aerial attack is quite nasty, so definitely something to be careful of. We are mostly just going to fly around trying to do as much damage to all these units as possible as they approach our main army. We have a chariot charge moving through the source and unfortunately getting the salamanders involved. We can't really move the salamanders further away or else they'll get flanked. And fortunately the chariots look to be stopped pretty well. Ooh, that was a nice shot coming in from our Basti with Solar Engine. And oh, a lot of shots hitting our own units because of the chariots there. But still, the Saurus line is holding for now. Moff Cattell is also helping out. He does do quite a bit of damage himself at 730 weapon strength. Get him a few buffs and he should be quite strong. We should start trying to get the Slann some weapons and armor that'll help them fight a little bit more. Ushabti coming in this time. It's a really cool battle, I gotta admit. With Mazdamundi and co, most of this army would have never have reached us because they would have just destroyed it with magic, but this time they are approaching and the Saurus will have to work for it. And have to burn them all, hopefully. Alright, there we go. Popping a Searing Cloak, Cascading Fire Cloak rather, on the Saurus that are defending against the Ushabti here, fighting among the fireworks. Once again, just a really cool looking battle, and we are holding them off, but we are certainly starting to take damage. Another Piercing Bolts of Burning with no Pterodon Riders to block them this time, or Fire Leech Bolas. Pterodon Riders with Fire Leech Bolas, I should say. This Blessed Warrior Saurus is now dropping nearly to 50% HP, or maybe a little bit more, like 60, 65, but certainly starting to take damage, and the same thing is going to go for all these guys as they are being charged by the various cav and chariot units. Once again, our ranged units in the meantime, or specifically our Fire Leech Willows, are going to go over here and try to annoy this army as it approaches us. They are unfortunately getting hit by a Spirit Leech, and there is a High Mage or a High Lich High Priest out there casting on them, but hopefully they can survive long enough. Let's get back to the ground that we're holding. Too bad we didn't have a hill that we could hold. Ooh, and look at that charge. The mass of the Necropolis Knights, very much enough to push on through. Moff Cattell and the Ancient Salamander and the Basti with Solar Engine are going to have to try to hold the line here. Another chariot unit moving through and then breaking right out. Clearly they have enough mass regardless of the amount of... And these are Spear Saurus blocking them too. They just don't care. Unfortunate for us, I guess. Oh, and now the Necropolis Knights, after charging through, are going to get out. They did take a decent amount of damage when they're down by about 40%, so that's still pretty okay, but the Saurus Warriors here have taken quite a beating, and same with the other Saurus Warriors. They have also summoned an Ushabti unit right in the middle of all our Salamander packs, which we were, to be fair, expecting. So our Saurus with spears from one flank are going to go in and try to help out with that, as well as the Basti with Solar Engine, and we will try to hold. Gotta just keep on trying to hold, although the battle is starting to get dangerous. Really fun, though. Alright, Chariot's looking like they want to charge the Salamanders, but the Salamanders should eventually be able to take them out, especially if the Ancient Salamander gets hits on them, as it should be able to periodically destroy models. Oh, and we actually get some range shots in as well, so that should help out as well. Lovely. Absolutely lovely. How are our Fire Leech Bolas doing over here? They are unfortunately embroiled with fighting a bunch of enemy ranged units. The Blessed Legion of Fox here, they are about dead, but there are more ranged units to continue fighting. We can see the damage that's been dealt to the various Fire Leech Bolas as they try to take care of all these ranged units. But on the bright side, at least these are all ranged units that are not attacking our main line while it tries desperately to hold the enemies back and prevent them from killing our Salamanders. We're definitely missing a couple heroes in this army, but like the Life Army, this army was begun at a time when we didn't really have enough heroes, and I'm still not entirely sure what we're going to do with it. I mean, it would be nice to put a Saurus in here, but I feel like we have Saurus everywhere, or the Saurus Scar Veteran specifically. Although we do have a fairly large line of Saurus here that protect our units. Definitely something to think about. It's mostly because I want buffs for the Saurus, so that they can hold the line a little bit longer, but we also should get some leadership buffs as well, and I do believe the Saurus Scar Veteran provides that on top of the buffs to the Saurus, so definitely something to consider. I don't think we need another caster in here, although, I mean... see, the thing is, I would put an Oracle, or maybe even just a regular... or a regular Skink Priest in here. I'll put most likely an Oracle for the extra larger unit. The thing is, ooh, look at those Spokal Stalkers shooting the Fire Leech Bolas there once again. Yeah, I would do that, except for the fact that this army feels like it's already quite full. Like, I couldn't even fit a few extra units in here that I wanted to fit in, and we need to figure out how to make up that space, and I have no idea. I really do want to keep the Basties with solar engines in here, because they do feel right for this army, because they naturally do fire damage. Everything that does fire damage should be in this army. So, yeah. I'll think about it. Maybe I'll remove one of the Salamander units and replace it with a Saurus. But we shall see. Feels like a lot of our armies are Saurus-based, and that's not unusual for Lizardmen, but... I wish there was another unit that we could use as, like, a line holder that we didn't need as many of. That would, you know, that naturally did fire damage. Obviously not the case. Alrighty, how are we doing? It is certainly dangerous. The balance of power is about even. Several of our Saurus units have actually routed and are now coming back, or at least these two are coming back. This unit is getting ready to come back. This unit is routing, so we only have 3 units of Saurus, I believe, fighting. 1 is rampaging right now, and several of them are coming back. The Toonbark is almost routed this Basti with Solar Engine, who is surrounded here, and is about to be even more surrounded when the rest of the Saurus rout. But Moff Cattell is still fighting fairly strong with the Basti. He's been surrounded pretty much this entire time, except for this one unit of Saurus Spears that has been holding the line with him, and he's been doing a great job not taking too much damage. So well done to Moff Cattell. Over on the sides, the Salamanders are also doing a fairly decent job. They're killing this unit of Ushabti now that they are separate from any ranged units. We also have another Fire Salamander, or Ancient Salamander, I should say, over here, which should be able to do a decent amount of damage to these Tomb Guard. It is going to move around and sort of spit on them, hit them in the back, especially while they're blobbed up, to try to do as much damage as possible. You definitely have to reduce the enemy numbers if we want to survive this battle. This is a very, very close battle. Alright, Salamander, do it. There you go, a nice shot, and that does a fair amount of damage to these Tomb Guard with a single hit, although the Saurus are almost ready to rout on both of these guys. It's very close. We see a lot of enemy units getting ready to rout, just as our units are getting ready to rout as well. Gonna be another photo finish on this battle, I think. As long as Moff Cattell holds the line, he has used Ancient Mind now to prevent our units from routing. I think I learned my lesson of keeping that around, not using it earlier. Last time we lost on that Fire Slann fight, so definitely gonna have to make use of it to try to prevent the routes here. Once again, the Necropolis Knights are charging. Wait, no, these are the Spokal Stalkers. Charging back in, but they are getting completely focused down by all of our Salamanders on the side and getting kind of destroyed by them. Look at all that fire. That beautiful, beautiful fire. And these units are all crumbling. The Toonbark still alive, but the enemy army not so much. All the regular units have started crumbling, and it looks like it is just the Toonbark, the Lich High Priest, and the enemy Lord that are left here. Beauty. Very, very close, but we managed to pull through. The Lich High Priest tried to charge the Salamanders, but got knocked back by a bunch of those shots. It's actually hilarious. Oh man, that's unfortunate. Yeah, it's really so detrimental to be a Lord on foot, isn't it? You just get knocked around by everything. I mean, there are a few Lords like Grimgor, especially now that he has increased mass, that don't really care about this sort of thing, and that are very difficult or downright impossible to knock around, but most Lords on foot, a very bad idea. And there we go, the Fire Army did manage to pull it off with both those units crumbling, but we saw just how much damage we took. It was a really, really fun battle, and I only took it because I thought it would be fun, as in we could have retreated and then forced the enemy to fight Mazdamundi as well, but damn if it wasn't worth it. And I guess this does mean we should get a couple of well, at the least we should probably get a hero in here, but Gotta think about if there's anything else we should do to this army. 1-on-1, I'm pretty confident in it. 2-on-1, not as much. Like, I'm very confident in Mazdamundi's army, 2-on-1 or even 3-on-1. This army barely managed to pull off the 2-on-1, even though it did win at the end. Although we gotta remember that the Fire Slann's like level 6 or something. He's just starting out, so we don't have a lot of buffs on this army, actually. He's still a pretty new lord. I do imagine it'll get stronger and stronger as we go, and we'll have to be a lot less concerned down the line. But still, we still won. That's what matters. Man, I am so glad I didn't decide to back off and fight that together with Mazdamundi, because what a fun frickin' battle. The close ones, and this was a genuine close victory. It was touch and go there for a second. It felt like a decent amount of our Saurus decided to route, but at the end of the day, our salamanders definitely did a lot of damage. This one in particular, I believe this was the one that was attacking the enemy tomb guard and just racking up the kills there. But several of the other salamander units did very well as well. The Umbral Tide got 32k, and this one, a regular salamander unit, got 24. Not bad at all. The solar engines didn't do much work in range, but then they did do a fairly decent amount of work in melee, as unlike the Saurus, they were just unwilling to rout. Always the Fire Leech Bulls did well, except you, who got kind of wrecked by those Sepulchral Stalkers, and I am kind of interested in how the Sepulchral Stalkers were essentially a counter to the Pterodon Riders. They worked really quite well at knocking them out of the sky. Finally, Moth Cattell, 53,000 damage, definitely held the line despite being attacked by various units, did not break, despite the relatively weak melee defense. A very nice Slann work there, buddy. We are going to heal up just in case there's another army here. I don't expect that there is, but I also don't trust it, so just kill an E just in case. Is there another army out of Khemri? No, it doesn't look like. And that was, they did assault units on us, and then they attacked with 2 armies, didn't they? Well done, Moth Cattell. I'm very happy with you, buddy. Very, very happy with you. Alright, assault unit success. Yeah, I know, game. I know. Gifted musicians. Kind of interesting. Do the... well, I guess this implies that that Lizardmen have music, but on the other hand, I think this can appear for any army, so maybe not necessarily. Alrighty, we do have a bunch of admin stuff to do. Oh, and we do also have another army being built up at Al Haik, which should come forth fairly soon. Is Mazda close enough to hit Khemri with a single go? Yes, indeed he is. Yes, indeed, he is, regardless of the attack on Moth Cattell. Rude though it was, Mazda will be able to siege Khemri. We won't have time to fight it this episode, of course, but that's going to be just fine. I mean, I can't believe we haven't had Ogre Mercenaries in a while. It feels like there's been a lot of battles since the last recruitment we've had, but oh well. Oh well, you go back to Khemri. Oh, and there are enemies right outside, huh? You know what, I guess we'll start by attacking them next turn. They'll probably back off, but just in case they don't, in case they want to fight in the field, which is possible because Khemri does have a bunch of elite units in it. We'll wait. Moth Cattell, you could always support, or we could send you here and guard the Black Pyramid, just in case there are more... No, you know what, I don't see any Khemri forces out here, so it's unlikely that they would be able to take it either way. And I just realized the Black Pyramid is not automatically walled. Kind of surprising, but, you know, I guess we'll have to deal with that as we go. I think I am going to call this episode here. I have no idea what time we're at after 2 cinematic battles. You guys know the drill by now. Hopefully it's somewhere about where it needs to be, but if it isn't, it isn't. Next time, I keep promising the wars with Gorok over here, but it ain't happening thus far. I don't even see Gorok himself personally. He's here somewhere. He's waiting. He's waiting for the right moment to strike, and oh, Wakesel will not easily be able to defend itself, even though it has some decent units. Maybe what I should do is temporarily destroy the Kroxagor Labor District. I wonder how long it would take to build up a wall building. 3 turns, it's not too bad. If it never gets hit, it might certainly be worthwhile. You know what, I am going to destroy the Labor District. Man, that's a lot of It's a lot of money off of that one building, but it's okay. We will rebuild it. And yeah, calling it here. Next time we continue the war in the desert, but finally, I think, start the war with Gorok over here because a bunch of his units are getting close, and I do think they're going to attack here. If we take the Blood Swamps, maybe we can defend it with Tehenhauin. Send Nikai to the Awakening, and send Predot after we've traded units all the way out here to ferry some of those units, so stay tuned for that. So with that said, as always, I do appreciate any feedback with regards to the gameplay or the way I do things on this channel. If you have a second, please do take it to leave a like and or a comment to support the channel. It really does help. As always, all glory to the algorithm, and thanks for watching.